I live up in the Peekskill area, northern Westchester. I've been doing Revolutionary War reenacting for too many years, over 20, primarily on the Colonial, the Loyalist British side. What I am wearing would have been common everyday dress for common women in the time of the Revolution. Okay, this is like everyday. Most of the clothing would have been linen. Some of this is cotton, just because we can't get it all in linen. But linen was the preferred fabric, or lightweight wool. My head is covered. That was partly safety, keep your hair out of the fire, partly fashion, partly just what they did. My hair is now too big to wear a real cap, so I'm just doing it tied up. A straw hat outside, keep you out of the sun. They didn't like the suntan look, okay? Even for working women, you tried to avoid that if you could. So a hat, nice broad brim, paper flowers. A generous apron, because I'm a working woman, so I want to keep my clothes as clean as possible, but I can tuck it up if I need to. Women's clothing commonly weren't fastened with buttons. They were generally either stitched, tied, or used pins. I think a lot of that had to do with women's constantly changing waistlines. For whatever reason, that's the way it was. I cheat with this because straight pins, if you're doing anything, straight pins keep falling out, okay? So, you didn't see this. These were not invented until around the Civil War. All right. This is made out of cotton. They said linen was much more common than cotton. It's fully lined and reversible. And if you want to look at it more closely later, you can see that right down the middle, it's pieced on both sides. I gained weight before I started making this, so I did what they did. I pieced. They did a lot of piecing. Fabric was expensive, labor was cheap. Clothing was taken apart, remodeled endlessly. So these are my stays. This is a foundation, gives me good posture. They like the ice cream cone kind of shape. It was not the extreme nipping in the waist.
Who laced it up? A friend, a daughter?
Well, it kind of depends. I'm cheating using front and back lace stays because I can do it myself. I have no servant. The proper stays would be only back lace. It would be solid across the front. It does help to have somebody, a daughter, a sister, whoever, maybe even a husband. And this neckerchief is more to keep the sun off. They really didn't mind seeing bosoms. It's not the hanging over the top barmaid look, but they did like to see mouths.
What was the purpose of the bottom?
The stays? Part of it was just the way the fashion evolved.
Oh, that's
the centuries before that, the gowns, like in Elizabeth's time, had boning built right into the gowns. And then for whatever reason, I don't know.
Okay.
Who knows? Trends, fashion. They definitely liked the look of the narrow waist and the wide hips, but that wasn't only accomplished through nipping in the waist. As I said, in this period, they liked kind of this front straight front, straight back, kind of like an ice cream cone. You know. One or more petticoats. Skirts were called petticoats. Were normal. The more petticoats, that also gives you more of the poofy look. Okay. I like to mix and match. You'll notice that this has a sewn-on border. This is called ferreting. Again, fabric was cheap. Fabric was expensive. Labor was cheap. I'm not going to ruin fabric by turning it over into a hem, losing all that fabric when it frays. So ferreting, whether it was a self fabric or whatever kind of fabric, that was pretty much the norm. And you'll notice that my petticoats are not dragging the floor. I'm working around the kitchen, I'm working around the yard, I'm working around the house. I need to be practical. This is my pocket. If anyone remembers that Lucy Lockett lost her pocket and wondered why, because she probably had one or a pair of them underneath or between the petticoats, and you reach into at what's actually called the pocket slit to get at it. So you have one or two. I have my sewing kit in here, which I will be using momentarily. And that.
So everything's tied with strings, huh?
Now underneath everything, of course, I have my hose. I'm cheating by wearing men's leather garters. These are like soldiers' garters because the tape ones either come loose and I lose them, or I tie them too tight and they cut. So this is like walking around naked in the 18th century. You know, this is worse than us walking around in a bathing suit.
Same one.
Yeah, absolutely. And shiftless, okay? They provided shifts for the women in prison and in the poorhouses. They might be made out of leather, scored leather, so that they would last a long time and could be recycled. Everybody wore shifts. It was just proper. Even little boys until they were breeched. Wore stays. I'm sorry, I meant to say stays, leather stays. So yeah, even little boys wore stays for the proper posture. This is really how the petticoats should be tied, not on the sides. I just have never bothered to change those over. The front and back. This is linen. This is linen. Actually, we're going to put on the
That's why you should have asked.
I should have attended first.
Now, are there reasons due to things like sweating or the weather, the humidity, that causes linen and cotton to be in different layers or anything?
Not particularly. I mean, linen was the more common fabric. Any cotton I'm wearing is really a concession to what's available. Okay.
That's what I was performing linen. It got caught in the rain. That was dried so fast before I was even on stage that the linen was dry.
Linen is much more breathable. Definitely. My first shift, and that's this basic undergarment. My first one was made out of pure cotton bed sheet, and I thought, oh, wonderful, pure cotton, no synthetic in it. I died. Doesn't breathe at all. Does not.
Is that right?
Did not breathe at all. So linen, even heavy linen, is definitely the way to go. So I'm putting on my enhancements, my hip pads, and a bum robe.
Down the skirt a little bit in the back.
The maid.
So glad to give the
maid. The chambermaid.
Beginning
very
to
feminine. Very feminine.
The maid was my signature.
narrow waist, large hips. Okay. Now, this is called a gown. Gown doesn't mean fancy. Gown means dress. Okay. This is kind of an everyday kind of gown made of linen. The design of them was basically similar. You could determine people's rank by the quality of the fabric and what kind of enhancements or frou-frous were on it.
What's the situation? I just asked for $2. That's all I asked.
We need 10.
Please leave. This is the response I get. They tell me something, this and that, and the third. No, I mean, it's not in my seat. I even said it's not in my seat. No. You have to walk. No. It's fine. It's fine with me. It's fine with me.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So the predecessor to this kind of gown would have been the robe à la française, French back, sack back gown, bateau gown, where you see fabric from the shoulders flowing straight back to the floor. There was a short version of that, a jacket short version that women sometimes wear. It wasn't real practical for every day. I don't know why the fashion changed. But the next step was called a gown en furreau. So they took the same amount of fabric, this is fabric from here all the way to the bottom, but it's sewn
And it was
together
like, I had to like,
in
you know,
rows, in furrows,
verbally.
on furrow. And you can see that from the
Oh,
inside
you
a
said
little
good,
bit
good,
better.
good to you.
Now,
That's all I gotta say.
so here we have the visual trick of these pleats coming together toward the waist, all right? And then on top of that, I made this with striped fabric, so that adds to the illusion, visual illusion.
Now, would a woman with naturally large hips be more desirable?
You know, I
Making
don't
that?
who can say? Who can say? And you know, and again, it depends on who you are and what you're doing as to how much of the stuff you wear. Certainly, there were the large panniers for court wear and even for fancy dress wear.
Like a big cup.
Yeah, well, or they're like little, like
Streetwear.
cage work.
Wings,
Get little cage work. Women smuggled stuff inside.
What did they smuggle?
Spice, everything from spice
Right.
spice stuff to alcohol, bringing alcohol in. So,
Not to pay taxes?
hard to say. Hard to say. So, you know, Samuel Adams was a big smuggler. He owed millions of pounds to the crown, so his motives were not entirely pure.
Oh, for the American Revolution, when no taxation without representation.
Yep. Well, he was, like I said, Boston was a hotbed of smugglers.
So they do this every morning, sewing?
Yeah.
Doesn't that wear the fabric down?
Now you're sewing it up. You're sewing yourself in your dress.
I mean, every day over years, I'm not exactly sure. I'm not sure who would have worn
Well, what's the
sewn in,
button?
sewn in gowns every day, except maybe wealthy women, and they could probably afford to have it repaired.
Didn't you have buttons then?
They did not use buttons on women to secure women's clothing.
So you do this every day? You sew your
Well, I mean, if you were wearing a gown, yeah. There was no hooks and eyes yet, no Velcro. So this
And how long does it take to sew yourself in? I mean,
how long is it taking? I mean, I could probably do it faster if I weren't yakking.
so 5 to 10 minutes.
So probably.
And if
yeah.
you did it every day, it's going to be fine.
Could be. Now, most people didn't own a whole lot of sets of clothing, and what got washed most commonly, what were called the body linens, the shifts, the men's shirts, which came down to here, in which they just pulled the back forward, tucked the front under for underwear into their breeches. We're talking pre-underwear, pre-boomers. There was a little bit for people that, you know, for guys that rode, just to keep them from chafing inside their breeches. But that was only really kind of just starting. So.
How often did people change their clothes back then? Did you bathe every day and change clothes? So you wear clothes for
First
a
of all,
week.
think about, and I'm not talking about untrue rumors that they didn't take baths because they thought it would make them sick. Okay, watching Game of Thrones in the bathtubs. What would it take? And this is how I talk to kids when I do kids programs. What's it going to take to draw a hot bath in those days? Okay, what do you
fire.
do? Okay,
A big kettle.
Okay, so where's all that water come from? Carried bucket by bucket by bucket at a time. From wherever, but
Pumping up water from
well, there's no
From the
pump.
well.
No pump.
The common
No pump.
well.
This is
hand pump.
So like, no, not common. But again, the point is, each individual bucket into that tub, it also had to be heated over a fire, which someone had to chop the wood, make the fire, heat the water, bring it up there.
A wooden fire.
Yeah, so this is very expensive, real expensive. So you're not going to do that real often. You changed your body linen, and again, how often that happened depended on who and where you were in society. I doubt that the poor people changed their clothes hardly. Who knows? You know.
Did everyone have lights?
I'm sure, absolutely.
Everyone had lice?
Absolutely.
Oh,
There was a lot of use of wigs because they had their heads shaved because of the bugs. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So, you know,
You can also
Bed
pick them out
bugs.
one by one and break their backs.
do that in South America.
And bed bugs.
And you could probably eat it. You could probably eat
Hey.
it too.
Uh, your own blood.
So
One by one.
steel, there's been steel for hundreds and hundreds of years by now. Yeah, we are a long way from
5 minutes to go.
from
okay.
bone needles.
Yeah, we have 5 minutes.
Okay. Yeah, I mean the questions are very interesting. What else? I mean, watching me sew myself in is like watching paint dry. The only thing I'm going to add is probably. Let me.
Well, you said the leather, that you had leather stays. Is that right?
Their leather stays were in some areas were provided for women in prison or in the poorhouse.
That was a low-level stay?
Absolutely, because you had to wear them.
Whalebone is a stale.
Whalebone, sometimes wood splints, which of course.
Yeah, I wonder if it was whale cartilage.
In my commoner's persona, this would have been a really common hat to wear outside, black silk. Anybody that knows the Sisters of Charity of Mother St. Elizabeth, what she wore basically was what a widow would have worn in the early 1800s. So they adopted that for their habit. This is silk and it's made very much like they would. Now's my wealthy lady. Now I wouldn't wear it necessarily with this outfit, but if I had something that was more gussied up when I was going out, I might wear this silk bonnet.
That bonnet?
That's lovely, isn't it? Right? Oh, that's
For today, I'm just going to wear my
And shoes. Would you
yes.
have fancy lace-up boots?
No,
just a buckle?
No, that would have been nicer buckles. Smooth.
Oh, better buckles.
Yeah, better buckles. Smooth skin out. Dyed. I am dying for some red leather shoes with like what they call a Louis heel. And then I can't justify buying them because I got nowhere to wear them. But again, depending on your class, depending on who you were and where you were, and what tasks you were engaged in, very much determine what you might be wearing at any given time. And of course, this is general American, Anglo-British, French, German, all of those peoples over here had their own variations on what they wore when they came over here. Yes, ma'am.
I imagine that blue dye came across the ocean. That was not, that looks like an expensive dye, that blue hat.
Blue generally came from indigo, which they had been using in India like forever.
Right.
It's a fairly complicated dye process. It's an oxidative dye.
So that was just part of the trade across the ocean.
Yeah,
They could
yeah.
get blue dye.
Absolutely. Yeah, or fabric, all kinds of stuff back and forth. Yeah, all kinds of stuff. They could get almost any color that we can now, except for like the real neon colors. I don't think they could get that.
So we have about 1 more minute. Any more questions from anybody? Questions?
Actually, they did for Stephanie.
Definitely. We missed out.
You're
What was
almost ready
that?
for the concert.
Couldn't hear you.
For the concert.
Okay.
You're almost sewn in, right? You're almost sewn in.
I'm almost sewn
Do you
in.
put anything over that? You just sew-
What I will do is I will wear I have a little apron up. I'm going to put this
apron on it.
apron on it, and then probably change out my neckerchief.
Change out your-
a little bit fancy.
Beautiful. And then
Well, that's a lot of clothes.
Oh, you
So that's
two
your
could be
final-
a great
do you wanna
combination.
take one last shot of for the camera.
For posterity.
For posterity. And we're all going to applaud.
I don't care if anyone takes a picture on this.
The classic American Betsy Ross.
Once I pull myself a little bit more together.
I know. Wow. Okay, now it's almost 1 o'clock, and Andrew, you want to distribute some programs?
Oh,
If
you're
you want
gonna
to go get a program from Andrew, go get a program. Maybe Jason can distribute them around. We have 2 minutes to go, and then we're going to have to move over there a little bit.
Outside's free.
I know I always pay. Put it
Oh, you're donating? Well, thank you. Thank you, Mary.
Oh!
Everybody ready?
Am I sitting there?
No. You want to sit? No.
Yeah, that would be appropriate.
I'm going to film for this. Oh, you can sit right there.
Then this is yours?
I don't know who this is, but
Somebody.
somebody with what it is.
I think it's hers. Are you sitting here? Well,
I can get up. I can get up. Yeah. No, go ahead. Sit. Sit. I'll stay.